Guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're very well. It's game week 7 here on Sorare NBA. Let me run you through my lineups, show you the lineups that hit me rewards yet again last week, and I'll also run through some of the guys that I think are going to be really top plays for this coming game week on Sorare NBA. Let's get into it. Before we do jump into this video though, can I please ask for you to consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Also hit the like button if you're enjoying the content that we're doing here on the NBA for our podcast, but also the Sorare videos that I bring you. So we cashed in limited contender this week. We hit a tier 4, a little bit better of a performance than Jeremy Grant. I think we were 3 points away from a tier 3. So we could have been looking at a tier 3 or tier 2, but ifs and buts. We cashed a tier 4. Tier 4s are not the worst. They're not like tier 5s where they're very hard to normally be usable straight away. Tier 5s can come into it if and when players get injured or rotated or if they're playing in garbage time minutes. But a tier 4 will certainly help the gallery, especially with a new card for the in-season tournament. Rare Champion was the big sort of if. Devin Booker didn't play. I thought he'd have played the OKC game. It was a gamble. I did say that in the last week. But considering Cam Reddish hit a 46-point game, to have that go to pretty much waste, because Cam Reddish hit 35 above his L10. If I move it down, so if I move myself over, I should say, and you can see that. Cam Reddish hit a 35 plus in his L10. So it was a bit sad that did go to technically waste, but Jimmy Butler didn't do anything of any case. But let's have a look at my game week 7. I'll open this reward in the next video, but the game week 7 video, let's have a look at my lineups now. So as always, guys, with my common pickup team, if I do win a reward in this one, I'll give it away to a subscriber on the channel. Just leave your comment down below with your Sorare name and let me know how you're getting on with Sorare NBA at the start of the season. We're a couple of weeks into it now. Have you won anything? I want to know. I really do want to know. Luka Doncic should be my MVP. Kawhi Leonard will be the second option, and then Sabonis will be the third. That then leaves me with 37 for 2. Got a Duncan Robinson and Malik Beasley, so it really picks itself this week. Especially Duncan Robinson coming off the back of really, really strong performances recently as well. Especially with Tyler Hero being out, he's going to be asked to do a little bit more. And I like the 3 guys. Kawhi Leonard's a bit of an iffy one, obviously with what's going on in Clippers at the moment with James Harden coming to town, and they all have to get sort of integrated with how he's going to play, and it messes the whole sort of thing that they head up there. But that's for the podcast, shall we say? And then Malik Beasley. Bucks have not been great, but a cap of an L10 of 17. I'm gonna put him in my lineup for this one. And hopefully, like I said, this hits. I think I come 400th the other day, so we're really, really close to hitting that reward now. It's only a matter of time. Let's move on to my limited lineups. I think I did this last week, in fact, but actually we're going to do my in-season tournament one because I'm going to use my Luka as per usual. Luka Doncic MVP in this in-season tournament. I'm still in cash rewards. I did take a little bit of a hit this week due to the performances of Russell Westbrook, but if you get given 2 of them, what can you do? You kind of have to use one. When life gives you lemons, put Russell Westbrook in your team. Yep, there we go. So Luka Doncic will be in there. I'm going to throw Jaren Jackson Jr. in. I know they've all only got 1 game because it's the in-season tournament, but he wasn't particularly great in the outing against the Clippers, but I'm going to pick Jaren Jackson Jr. in any case. Russell Westbrook will also be my next option. Jimmy Butler's going to go in there as well, and that leaves me 27. So, I mean, I need a new season card. I've got an L10 Kevon Looney at 25. I'm going to throw him in there. I'm not prioritizing this lineup, but I don't want to go out and buy really good rare cards for Season 2 at the moment with the prices where they are in disparity with Season 1. So I'm happy with the ones that I've got. And I'm still in the money, and I'm still using my Luka and a few other cards. But I genuinely think this lineup's actually pretty good. Just Westbrook's L10's too high. He's not going to hit 38. He'll probably hit 30 at max. So look, if it keeps pushing me along, and remember, you only need 5 good scores out of the 7. So not every week has to hit. But yeah, that's my lineup. Now let's do my limited ones. So as mentioned before, if Luka Doncic is going to be my MVP on the in-season tournament side, Joel Embiid is always going to be my MVP over here on the champion side. So we'll throw Embiid in there. I feel like a sort of broken record here. I'm going to put Jordan Poole in. Jordan Poole has to have a game soon. He literally has to, on the premise that we've seen a 14, a 20, and a 20. Jordan Poole, granted, people probably overhyped him, but there's no way he's this bad. They've got games against the Raptors and the Mavs. If he can't outscore 23 in these 2 games, then I am slightly concerned for it. But the issue is he's still going to always outproject this cap. So every time I'm going to have to go for him at the moment. Next to him, we're going to put Ben Simmons. I know he's been injured. He's day-to-day. Yeah, he's day-to-day as what was said on there for the Sunday game. Well, the Saturday night game. It's Sunday today. Magic and the Heat. Do I think they're the best lineups or the best matches for Ben Simmons? Not particularly. Didn't score well when he played the Heat last time in any case. But I think the Magic's not too bad. And if he does play at an L10 of 23, I'll take the role with him. The next slot here, then, that leaves me with 37 with 2 people left. I want Sabonis in. I think Sabonis has looked really good to start the season, so I would like Sabonis. I could go Bradley Beal, in fact, but one game, or DeRozan, or the Kuzma. That leaves me with 34, and I actually like Vucevic this week. Yes, I know, shocking turn of events. I like a Chicago Bulls player as a pick this week. But the thing with Vucevic is whenever he's gone back to Orlando, he does tend to put up quite a decent game. And I don't like the story narrative, but I'm going to roll with it, especially for this week. That also fills up all of my cap points. And Bede, Sabonis, Vucevic, Simmons, Paul. That's my champion lineup. Let's look at contender and underdog before we jump onto my rares. Now, with limited contender, there may be a suggestion that I should be using Cam Reddish in this because Cam Reddish is coming off the back of 2 heater games up against the Blazers and the Suns, which you can't see, which is there. Probably the camera placement should move, but yeah, I'm not going to move it now. Cam Reddish at 11, I'm going to roll with him 100%. Same with Josh Richardson at 11. I'm going to roll with him. That then leaves me with 29 on average for the last 3 players. And now the reason for Josh Richardson, as I said before, Tyler Hero's out. A few of the guys in the Miami Heat are just getting more minutes. He's one of them. I think he'll play like 20 to 25 minutes on average. Charlotte and Brooklyn, I'll take the options there with an L10 of 11. If we're looking at this here, DeAnthony Melton is sort of that sort of backup role right now with the Sixers. I know 20 is a little bit high for him, but he's a solid option and one that I think I'm going to take. Which then leaves me with 34 left for the last 2 slots. And that means, actually, I'm looking at him right here. Julius Randle can go in, and so can Jeremy Grant. And now Julius Randle has been documented. He's not had the best of starts to a sort of season. I really like the game against the Hawks. There's a whole thing with the Knicks and the Hawks and Trae Young and everything. I like the game for that for Randle. And then with Jeremy Grant, he's got 2 games. One of them's against the Cavs. I really like how Jeremy Grant's sort of been performing recently as well. So especially with people out for the Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant will just sort of get what he needs. So Jeremy Grant's shots are going to go there. 2 games against the Jazz and the Cavs. I'll have some of that action. Limited underdog then, as always, limited underdog. You kind of just pick your throwaway guys. I'm training up this Jackson Hayes in anticipation of the AD sort of game management or sit game, and hopefully he's around when it happens because an L10 of 5, I think he's a really good pick that week. We'll then look at what else we've got. Paul Reed, I think, is a solid option that we can take. We'll throw Paul Reed in there. Same with Shake Milton, obviously. He's in the rotation. He doesn't get too many minutes, but it really depends on if the Timberwolves are getting blown out or if they're blowing someone else out, then, you know, he's going to get more minutes and usage. You know how it works. 19 L10 left. Georges Niang's quite a good option. Not been great recently, but he always has the anticipation moments with the Cavs to sort of have a good score. So we'll throw him in there. That then leaves me 26. Jordan Clarkson's been playing really well for the Jazz lately, and he's playing Portland. So, you know, we're going to throw him in there. That's my limited lineups all done. Onto Rare Champion. Right, with Rare Champion then, obviously I'm using some of the decent guys in the in-season tournament mode, but we can still put together a somewhat competitive lineup. It's just so hard to win in Rare Champion at the moment, and I think the guys at Sorare probably know this by now. We're 7 weeks in. I said at the start I didn't want to make any judgments. I wanted to see how hard it would be, and it does seem to be quite difficult indeed. But that's for another conversation. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to risk it with Devin Booker. I'm going to run Anthony Edwards. I don't know why it's put him there. I'd rather him at the front. 2 games, L10 of 48, Golden State and Phoenix. I like those matchups for him in general. 48, he's slowly coming round to a cap that potentially you could see him use as a second MVP. And if that week happens, then I'm laughing. But for the time being, he'll be my MVP this week. I like Jaylen Brown. The thing with Jaylen Brown is 35 is probably about right. He could go above, he could go below because the Celtics are so stacked this year with Drew Holiday, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, all of the options. They got Derek White. It's a little bit harder for one of them to really go off. Jaylen Brown did have a heated game in Gameweek 3, as you can see, against Jordan Poole and the Wizards. But it's not as sort of frequently as it was happening last year. So you kind of have to hope for these moments. And a game against the Knicks and a game against the Sixers, there is opportunity for the highest paid man in the NBA to go off. So Jaylen Brown's going to go in there as well. Drew Holiday at 33 is now a really interesting option. He was too high at the start of the season. He was in the 40s playing with the Bucks. He's now slowly coming down, and some of these games are going to help as well. The 27 and the 23, they're going to help reduce his cap. And that's where we can then start to fit in other lineups. So we'll throw him in. Do we want to go? I really like this fixture for Jeremy Sohan against OKC. He's not been scoring amazing because he's been playing the point role, but I really do like that fixture. If I put Sohan in, that leaves me 31, which I could get Aaron Gordon or RJ. RJ Barrett's been really good as well to start the year. But I think I'm leaning on Gordon playing against the Clippers. The Clippers just look not a mess, but they look so off of it right now with trying to just figure out where they are and who they are. So I'm going to go for Aaron Gordon. That also uses up all the cap space, which we all know we like. Again, the thing with this is this looks like a good lineup, but I'm just not confident in it because of how hard it is to win. But we'll submit this. We'll take a look at contender and underdog, and we'll get ourselves out of it. Right then, rare contender has been my bread and butter to start the season. I have cashed in this tournament 2 or 3 times already this year, and decent rewards as well. Unfortunately, both of them have been Russell Westbrook. To start this off, we're going to scroll down because I really like the look of Cam Reddish this week again. There's arguments for me to play him in champion or in contender or even in underdog, but I think right now contender's probably the best place for this Cam Reddish. Don't get me wrong, he looks like the interesting option this week, coming off those 2 heated games, but at the end of the day, these players have an L10 of 11 for a reason. They can randomly and sporadically just go back to not performing in the way in which you think they're going to happen. So I'm going to take the gamble him at 11, playing Memphis, who are in an even worse state than the sort of Clippers are, and the Kings, who are good in any case. But Cam Reddish will go there. That then leaves me with 24 for the last 4 spots. No-brainer pick next. I don't care that he hasn't been performing well. Andrew Wiggins has to have a game soon. The Timberwolves is one of those ones where you sort of red circled at the start of the season for an Andrew Wiggins game. So, look, there's a chance he misses it as well through injury, but he's been playing. I've got him at 15.5% as well. L10 of 15 for Andrew Wiggins is so good. But look, I mean, it speaks for itself. He hasn't even exceeded 25 this year. So am I the most optimistic about it? No, but I am bullish on Andrew Wiggins being a solid pick this week due to the cap just being 15. And scrolling up, we're going to throw Jordan Poole in there. I'm not going to speak too much on Jordan Poole. The obvious reasons why with Jordan Poole and his upside. The one question mark is Brogdon. Now, he missed the game against the Lakers. He went off against the Cavs. No, the Kings, sorry. He went off against the Cavs. It would be helpful if I could speak. He went off against the Kings with a hamstring strain. We don't know the sort of severity of it yet. They haven't said anything. He's just been out. I think he was even questionable, which is nuts if that's the case. But Brogdon, if he plays in one of these games, is like a really, really good pick at 26, just because of what the Blazers look like this year. It's really him, Ayton, and Grant as your options with Simons out, and then you got some Shaden Sharp action. But I'm going to throw him in now, and then if we hear anything of if he's definitely out, I won't risk it. I'm not risking this lineup, so I will just remove him, and I'll probably remove him for someone else. But probably Jaden Ivey is a different one as well. But that leaves me with 35 left. Jeremy Grant's going to go in here, which then means that I can upgrade Brogdon to just RJ Barrett, and that's what I will do. But for the time being, we'll leave Brogdon in there now, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Jeremy Grant, like I've mentioned before with Brogdon, the Blazers right now are just sort of a 3, maybe 4-player quartet, and then the bench guys will get a few minutes towards the end of the game, or if they're getting absolutely spanked. But I think that's a solid contender lineup. So depending on, I think all of these can outperform their cap. So as such, I'm really bullish on this lineup. Let's check out my underdog one and we'll get ourselves out of here. Right then, rare underdog, the lineup where you throw all of your sort of, he could have made it into this lineup cards in this one. If Vanderbilt's back and we still don't know what's happening with him, I would quite like to throw him in because he has 2 games and at an L10 of 11 is really, really strong. Jackson Hayes, like I've mentioned before, I'm trying to build up the sort of XP on him and also think he's an option if he does play an AD 6-1 game, especially on the one where you don't know where and who's going to play. So we'll take the gamble, Jackson Hayes. I kind of want to put Vanderbilt in here just to see what happens because an L10 of 11 and the Lakers are missing Vanderbilt, even though they didn't play him in the postseason, but they're missing him in any case. Javon Carter are throwing there as well. He's getting some solid minutes for the Bulls. L10 of 12 and 2 games. Sam Hauser as well. He's looking really, really good coming off the Celtics bench. And that leaves me with an L10 of 19, in which it could be Gary Trent Jr. And you know how I like a guard that's playing against the Bucks. So Gary Trent Jr. can roll in there as well. And that'll be my rare underdog. So then that's everything, guys. Let me know how you're getting on with Sorare NBA this season or season 2 in the comments down below. I want to know what you've won, how you're finding it, what's hard, what you like about it, what you'd like to change. Let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you did like it, like I said before, please consider dropping a like on the video and subbing to the channel if you're not already, because it really does help us out over here at the Swingman Podcast. New podcasts will be dropping either this week or later in the week. And yeah, we're going to discuss the NBA that comes from it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.